Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Based on 108 mantras to awaken your soul and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. My questions and God's answers. And today our series number 83. How to choose your destiny. Very interesting subject, which we have been covering it. So pranam to Hariharji Maharaj, Guruji, for blessing, bringing us all together, and your unlimited blessings. And Lord Krishna, whatever you see on this page, it's all guidance by Guruji. I would say his Adesh. I'm Satya Kalra, your host for Path to Anandam. How to live the blissful life. Guiding with Guruji's Adesh, teaching, counseling, and now these Zoom programs, YouTube channels. All thank you very much, Guruji, for your guidance and blessings. And today's series, what are gunas and their types? How to identify them? We have been covering this. Effect of gunas in our life and future. How to change them? And what are the benefits? What are the practices? And what do we need to do to reach there? Today is the third session for this chapter 14. And today the focus is mainly verses 17 and 18 with meditation and question and God's answers. So let's all pray together. As a Arjuna, to remove our doubts and confusions by surrendering and seeking his advice. Because as Arjuna was confused, dejected, couldn't think properly what is good and what is not good for him. So he humbly requested his dear friend, which happened to be the supreme power which he did not know. So let's all pray together. Karpanya dosho pahate swabhavaha prachyami tvam dharma sammud cheta jachase syani nishchitam bruhi tanme Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. My heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure and my mind is confused about my duty, my dharma, what to do, what not to do. I am requesting you to tell me what is definitely good for me. I am your disciple. I surrender to you. Please instruct me. And that's where Bhagwan Krishna ji pour his blessings, shower Arjuna with his blessings, with infinite wisdom, which we are benefiting. And the universe will continue to benefit until this Srishti lasts. So initially he said, Na jo tasyati Govinda, I will not perform my duty. I will not do my duty. I will not fulfill my responsibilities. And after listening to that unlimited knowledge, divine knowledge, he said, I do as you advise. Karishye vachanam tav. So he went through that blissful journey by listening and following his instructions, because he transformed himself, uplifted himself. So let's all continue on this blissful journey, uplift ourselves, and remove our confusions, our worries, our fear, our vishad. So now we will be also on this journey going on Vishad Yoga. In other words, whatever the difficulties we face, when we are accompanied by supreme power, that Vishad is not Vishad, those worries and fears are not those fears and worries anymore. Those challenges are not those challenges anymore. Those are with the company of supreme power, so that Vishad, the worries become Vishad Yoga, and ultimately it gives us a courage to face our difficulties as well. So in summary, what Guruji Hariharji Maharaj said in many, many different occasions, in every single pravachans, new quotations, new guidance. So I put it together, all of his, few of his quotations, and according to him, the Gita is a step-by-step spiritual instruction manual to live righteously. It teaches us how to know your gunas, our aptitude, our swabhavas, our qualities, and transcend from them, which are the limitations. So go beyond your limitations and attain ultimate eternal happiness, peace, oneness. Reach to Param Dham. Experience that oneness. Satchit Ananda. I am Satchit Ananda. I am no different than God while living in the material world. So in other words, whatever difficulties we face, we feel his company with us. And then, of course, by doing our good karmas, we go beyond. Swami Hariharji Maharaj. So, on this blissful journey to Param Dham, oneness, ultimate, supreme, through knowing our gunas, our swabhavas, our nature. So, first 6 chapters, we learn how to feel the oneness through Karma Yoga. Then Bhakti Yoga, that it is all play of God, Vasudev Sarvamiti. So when we say Vasudev Sarvamiti, means God is all. And then now we are on Jnana Yoga, the true wisdom of ourself, our jiva, this Jiva Atma, and then Paramatma. In chapter 13, we learn all those threes. And now, in chapter 14, Gunas, Trigya Vibhag Yoga means learning the details about it. What are these gunas? So we are on that journey and moving from here from Vishad to Vishad Yoga. This is the ultimate summary of Bhagavad Gita. By going through different steps, learning Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga. This is basically all these sessions, if you notice, these have a combination of all. So we cannot separate one yoga from other. All are mingled together and all need to be practiced together. So we cannot say that just a karma yoga, only action. Action has to be done with love and devotion, which becomes a bhakti yoga. And then with wisdom, that's where the Gyan comes. So combination of three makes us qualified to move forward and help us to move forward and remove one layer at a time of our ignorance, like onions, and get to the essence of our self, about supreme power, and ultimately experience who we are, Satchit Ananda. So chapter 14, Guna Trag Vibhagya Yoga, the path of knowing the three gunas. But here, Bhagwan Krishna Bhagwan Ji gives us so much detail. And this, if we understand this part of Bhagavad Gita, gunas, our swabhava, where did I come from? What are the roles gunas play in our life? What is the power of gunas? Then we will understand the complete Bhagavad Gita and easy to become a practice. And you will see the transformation within yourself day by day, moment by moment. So it guides us how to transcend from them and how to have a continued journey, blissful journey to become gunati. And as I say, gunati does not mean we get out of gunas. We still will have gunas, but we are not slave of gunas. We know which guna is playing role in our life and how to go beyond it. And this is a beautiful journey. Once you learn, every moment you observe like a hawk and witness yourself. And then like you're driving a car, and anytime the steering wheel car goes a little bit on the right or out of the lane or right or left, steering wheel is in your hand, you bring it back. Similarly, once you learn this technique, understand the gunas and learn this technique, you will not be a slave of your mind and gunas. And you will continue to go on these journeys of purifying yourself, removing all the resentments, all the vishad, worries, fears, and continue to transform, become gunatit, and realize, who am I? By liberating, going beyond these limitations. So just for somebody to refresh, because some of the, I have some new people here as well. So what are gunas? I mentioned gunas, but what are gunas? Gunas are basically the qualities which we have, aptitude we have, our swabhava, our nature. These are gunas. And these gunas basically are three types. And whole universe is Triguni Maya. We are made with these three gunas, which we have learned what does it mean, but we will continue to talk about further. So the three fundamental qualities exist in every around us in Prakriti, whatever is around us. These energies are Tamasic, these are three gunas, which is called Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. Forces waves together to form the universe and everything in it, like our body is, our mind, our food, our thoughts, our actions, everything come under these three categories. So when we work through from the ignorance without knowing what it is called Tamasic. In other words, sometimes we are lazy, we are just don't know what we are doing. And then the next one is Rajasic. Next one is where you can see the difference of the colors. Rajasic is in between the top and the Sattvic. So we will go further on that one. But as our true nature, we have heard that many times. Our innate nature, how they are related to each other. Our true nature is like Satchit Anand. We are love, peace, ananda. And that is in our DNA. We are truly the embodiment of love, peace, ananda. If that is the case, then what happens? Why are not we happy all the time? Why are not we experiencing love all the time? Why are not we in the peace all the time? What is the reason? And this guna detail knowledge explains that Swabhava, our nature, is not our true nature, because our true nature is love, peace, anandam. But our Swabhava is an acquired nature, our acquired aptitude, because of gunas, because we are made with gunas, cause and effect. So our inner trail, born with inheritance, which are accumulated over many, many lifetimes. Our Swabhava changes. For example, I'll be so loving and caring, but if something happens to our liking, in other words, something happens which I don't like it, would I still be a same loving and compassionate toward that person? Suppose somebody gets mad at me. Prior to he got mad, I was so loving, the way all that. And when he got mad, was I still very lovey-dovey toward him? Maybe not. And we all have that experiences. It's not that we don't want to be, but that external circumstances do affect us, because we have accumulated that kind of nature, that kind of habits, that kind of programming of our mind, that when something happens which we do not like, our face expression changes, our feelings changes. So all this related to our nature. So sometimes we become angry without knowing why am I angry, why am I upset. Sometimes because my desire is not fulfilled, my liking is not there. So that is called my attachment to my desires, my expectations, and they're not getting met. And when they're not getting met, I am upset. That comes in the Rajasic nature. But when even all that happens, I'm still very calm. That calls Sattvic nature. So our true nature, love, peace, anandam, is lost because of the external or internal our conditions. Internally, our true nature is Satchit Ananda, but with the external conditions, it does get affected. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have learned until, as I said, up to chapter verses 16 in last session, last 2-3 sessions. Today, this verse summarizes it. And it says, Sattva Sattva Sanjayate, Jnanam Raiso Lobh Evcha, Pramad Moho Tamso, Bhavto Agyan Mevcha. From the mode of goodness, Sattva, one develops self-knowledge. So mode of goodness is Sattva. So one develops wisdom when they live in that consciousness. And from the mode of passion, Rajasic nature, develops greed, and from the mode of ignorance, Tamas, are developed with negligence, delusion, and malice. Here you can see again the 3 gunas, Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, and we have been speaking, or I have been discussing it with this one and talking about it. But here you can see the cause and symptoms of Tamasic and Rajasic nature. Tamasic nature is when we are unhappy. Tamasic means, and when we give taklif to others. Very simple. Tas is Tamasic. Raj is Rajasic nature, where when the kings rule their kingdom, they are attached to their kingdom. They're also, everybody is not, every king was not like a doctor, Raja Janak. And so they were not selfless, but usually they were attached, they were greedy, they want more and more. Their lifestyle was, I said, Rajasic. And we can relate in today's life, we say it's a Rajasic bhojan, means filled with lot of fat, lot of nuts, lot of ghee, oil, it's like a Rajbhog. So similarly, their lifestyle is Rajasic and they are very greedy. And of course, and Sattvic people like Sattvic like sadhus, saints. Saint does not mean in the orange robes, but who are the very calm and stable, sthit pragya, very stable in their mind. So here is the summary, what it causes. All the worldly desires, anger. This is, I put it previously, 5 plus 2 enemies. So here is the anger, desires, greed, ego, minus, mind. And then what happens at the end? Stress comes, confusion comes, poor judgment comes, our diseases take over, we cannot sleep at night, insomnia comes, blood pressure comes, diabetes comes, all these related to all the status of the mind. They all go back to our swabhava, our nature, how we handle our life challenges, our life situations. And here it says, so stress, confusion, and then poor judgment. See, when we are upset, and if we make any decision, most likely it will be a wrong decision. That's why they say, don't make any decision when you are angry. Don't go to buy the grocery store when you are very hungry on the stomach, because you will buy unnecessary things. So there are the tips are given. In other words, we should be in a very balanced state of mind whenever we do our actions. And then the impure action does not happen. But when we are upset, the impure actions means we will make the wrong decisions. And then it turns out to be, we are very unpeaceful because based on our decisions. So we get into miseries and what is called hell. Now, why it is called hell, I will speak in next slide, but here's just a simple slide I thought I should share it. That we talking about Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic, but how much Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic is basically needed in daily life. For example, I need to have a sleep, that's the nature of Tamasic nature. I need to have some senses. I have to have I wouldn't call greed, but this is, you can call, there's a fine line between greed and the basic needs, wants and needs. I do need to have a basic needs. Similarly, all these are telling us that we have to have the fine line. But what's happening? There are something, rest is needed, rest is needed, but not the laziness. Because when it becomes lazy, it becomes tamasic. But rest is needed. Similarly, needs are needed, enough to live, enough to have food, enough to have a car to drive. All those basic needs are needed. But when we keep continuing adding more and more, then it goes to the Rajasic nature. And it shows here that in ancient time, or according to our Shastras, we should have a 10% Tamasic, 20% Rajasic to meet our daily needs, and the 70% we should have a Sattvic nature where we can feel the love, peace, anandam within ourselves to live in this world. But gradually what happens? The ratio keeps changing. Here, initially we start sleeping more, and more we are ignorant, we don't pay attention. And it keeps going to the point where certain time Tamasic becomes 80%, like we take the criminals and many other situations. and terrorists especially, they just work. They don't know the difference between good and bad. Their mind is so brainwashed. So they become 80% tamasic. And they even do Rajasic nature, they don't understand. They could be living in the jungles, they're hiding with the guns and all that. So they're not living the proper Rajasic daily life. So that even Rajasic becomes less. And of course, they don't know the difference between good, bad. They are so insensitive to people's feelings because their only job is to kill, kill, kill. So this is many times, and it's not that everybody gets to that level, but we own experiences, our ratio keeps changing also during the daytime. When we are calm, we could be here. When we are upset, we could be somewhere here. So the ratio of tamasic, rajasic behavior, it reflects our behavior and ethics of people. So that's where we have to be very, very careful to have a balanced life, which we will speak in the next slide. But here, this is the, how do gunas impact our destiny? That's today's subject, how to change the destiny. So it says, urdhva gachanti sasattva, madhye tishanti raisaha, jaganya guna vratitstha, adho gachanti tamsa. In other words, all these effects, cause and effects, this nature, tamasic, when we are living ignorance, we don't know what we are doing. And we are always in difficult situation while we are living. Most of the time, we might not even realize, but definitely it says that is the lowest place, and that who lives the tamasic lifestyle, they go to the lower planet or hell. Lower planet means they could be born as animals. And then once they are in the animal life, they have no chance to improve their conscious level, do better karmas, they're just stuck there until they exhaust all of their bad karmas. And then God gives them opportunity to move to the next level. But the Rajasic, it says Rajasic is in the middle. What does it mean? Rajasic, as I said, they live in the continuously greed, ego, attachments, and incurring more and more karmas, which means they continuously going into birth and death, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, because they live in the passionate life of worldly life, selfish life. And that is again because cause and effect, they incur more karmas, and then they keep coming back into life over and over, their cycle of birth and death. And then the Sattvic is here is the third level, and which is the goodness. And it says that Sattvic people go to heaven, higher consciousness, higher world. But still, that's not the end, because we learned before that heaven is not the end. Unless they go beyond gunas. Because Sattvic people, as we mentioned last week, I mentioned that Sattvic people also get attached to the spirituality, goodness all the time. They just don't want to, sometimes even don't want to lead the regular life, and they just want to do only meditation, do only these things, and become gunatit, which is good. But also sometimes they do not perform their duties, which is also a part of Bhagavad Gita says, you can do all those meditations, everything, but unless you fulfill your own duty. And Dinkarji said very nicely, he says, काम छोड़ ध्यान में लगेगा तो काल तुझे आके डसेगा. In other words, if we do not fulfill our responsibilities and learn to become, by practicing goodness, become gunatit, then we are still going to Sattvic, we are going to heaven. Once we exhaust our good karmas, we come back to the earth again and to go through the same cycle. But we learn how to live and how to go beyond our gunas. In other words, fulfill our responsibilities, being a gunatit, not be affected, not be attached, continue to have a balanced life. Then we feel the oneness with the supreme power. We reach to Paramdham, we experience who we are. So that's why it says that transcending our self of gunas is very important. And it says in this verse, one who transcends the three modes of material nature, gunas, and constantly serve me with love and devotion, unfailing in all circumstances, become eligible for nirvana, moksha, oneness with God. In other words, becomes Jeev Atma to Paramatma. So now, how to practice this? And so practice and go beyond our limitations. And as I mentioned before, rise and attain, then we will go to liberation. So we have continuously need to this practice of oneness, transform our habits by becoming Sakshi, who we are. And just focus on our actions. So basically, whole thing is reprogramming of the mind. So here comes the practice time. We have learned all this, what this is basically summarize how to practice now. First of all, we have to accept, experience Vasudev Sarvamiti. God is all. And in the morning, do our regular practices, whether it's the rituals, whether it's the mantras, reading Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Guru Granth Sahib, whatever resonates with us, we should start our day. And why our mind, we should do that. Again, I want to remind everyone that whatever we do first thing in the morning, rest of the day, rest of the mind will be directed toward that. So if we start with our mantras, our mind will be reciting the mantras rest of the day, even whether we know or we don't know about. And then we should practice our daily practices to keep our health, status of our mind properly. So our yogas, exercises, pranayam, meditation, all align. And when gradually we do that, what happens? If we take one habit, which is a part of the gunas, because by thinking, speaking, action, that becomes our habit. And that becomes our destiny. So if we want to change our destiny, we have to first observe ourselves. What are the habits we are carrying, which are fall in the category of Tamasic, which habits we are carrying in the Rajasic or Sattvic or Guna, and trying to go to the path of Gunati. So gradually, we have to remove or transform one habit from Tamasic to Rajasic, because from Tamasic to Gunatit we cannot become. It's a very step-by-step process. So first, next level, we become the Rajasic by removing some of the bad habits. And from Rajasic, we become less attached, less passionate, and we become Sattvic. And from Sattvic, by gradually practicing, we become Gunatit. So here you can see in this, see how a lot of these bad habits, like I put it in the form of like dogly habits or negativity, and then they are becoming more dilute and diluted. See, you can see that the heart is coming more, you can feel more love and compassion, and little by little, here you can see all these are almost nullified. Very little is left. And when gunatit, nothing is left, you become totally pure and transformed. So, message here is awareness of your gunas, your action, because whatever we think, it transforms in the form of action. So our actions are tamasic or rajasic or sattvic. So it can lead us to our eternal happiness, peace, anandam. So one day, just a practice during the day, which habits I'm practicing. In the evening, evaluate our progress. And before going to bed, whatever we did, just surrender to Supreme Power. Sarva dharman paritajya mamekam sharanam braj. Aham tvam sarpapebhyo mokshashyami mashuch. So basically, surrender, surrender, surrender before going to bed. And hopefully that becomes our habit of surrendering even during the daytime, especially for myself. I really need to have a more practice on that. But I put an example of Guruji here. See how Guruji, he said he was just like us. And then by doing good karmas, teaching Bhagavad Gita, practicing, guiding all of us, he eventually, from Jeev Atma, by doing all the good action, he become Dharmatma. And from Dharmatma, he become Mahatma. And then eventually he merged with the Supreme Power. He went to Paramdham, oneness. So this is a good example for us to learn. And so homework for us is be aware and ask myself. Do self-analysis, as I said, what are my behaviors here? So do I have my supreme goal of self-realization, oneness, Paramdham? Do I live in awareness and observe my behavior? Do I know my swabhava, my qualities? Do I watch my thoughts, speech, and action? Spiritual practices do I do? Do I live in the mindfulness? Do I live as a sakshi, witness? Do I do the self-inquiries? So, as once we practice this, we eventually transform. So as Vivekananda said, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So we should continue to be on this blissful journey, and by practicing, our sankalpa is, I rise above. I am on my blissful journey. So sankalpa is so important. And by living in this consciousness, shanai shanai uppar mein, little by little, buddhya gati grahita, our buddhi, our mind will be so pure. The condition is atma sanshaya. We do not have to think about anything else. It says atma sanshaya mane kratvana kinchit apis chinte. Don't think about anything else other than our goal and witness and continue on this blissful journey. And then little by little, the fruits will come by just putting the seed. The plant will grow, the flowers will come, the fruit will come, and that comes with the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And eventually we reach to happy, healthy, and peaceful life and reach to Paramdham. So this is our ultimate goal, and choose our destiny. So by practicing, transforming our habits from ignorance to higher self, in other words, detach, do our duty, and be calm, practice sthit prajna. So we little by little, we go from this cycle of birth and death to higher self. And ultimately to oneness, Paramdham, experience who am I, Satchit Ananda. So we go beyond our limitations. Freedom from pains and miseries means what are pains and miseries? Hell. And then sometimes kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. That's a Rajasic situation happens, many situations. This is where we go birth and death. And then finally, ultimately, by becoming Gunatit, we become happy, healthy, peaceful life. We live in peaceful life now. And then, of course, beyond. So going beyond our very difficult situations, which is could be hell. Jealous, some challenges do feel like a hell. Some feel like we are going up and down, and sometimes. So ultimately reaching to Gunatit by raising ourselves from Tamasic, Rajasic, and Sattvic nature. So we are the master of our destiny. How we take our life, as one of the quotation, which is my favorite one, is this life is a gift to us from God. But what we do with this, our life, is our gift to God. So we should choose the path and select our destiny to the higher self. So thank you very much. Attending how to choose your destiny and reach to Paramdham. Jai Shri Krishna.